Alright, no need for a drawn out intro. You see the title of the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button for future videos. And of course, let me know your favorite moments from Manifest and more Manifest video ideas while we wait for Season 4 in the comments below. And as always, if you haven't seen Manifest, major spoiler warning. Alright, before we get into my top 5 favorite moments in Manifest, I want to go through my honorable mentions real quick. First, we got Ben goes too far and almost kills a guy, specifically the leader of the Xer hate group, or whatever you want to call him. I just had an absolute panic attack when I watched this, and when that guy hit the ground, I thought Ben was done. I thought he actually murdered somebody, and this show was going to have real life consequences, but those are pretty few and far between with this show. Next, we got just the overall episode of the 828 pilot going off the rails. I thought the acting from Captain Daly was great. He was really going insane. But after him and the scientist disappeared, we were left with even more questions, but a few more answers, if that makes sense. And I like this moment more for the acting, but I feel like it did change the course of the show, at least a little bit. And then lastly, on my honorable mentions list, we just got the Tailfin discovery. I mean, I had to shout this one out in some fashion. As a Manifest fan, you know this quick scene had you on the edge of your seat. Alright, first on my list, coming in at number 5, we got Dr. Gupta is finally convinced. This one just had to make my list because I've never been more satisfied with this show. I always hated Dr. Gupta, and to see someone like her finally see cold hard evidence that there was something bigger going on, it just pushed the show so much forward. And again, I can't stress that I fucking hated her, but she was the only person in the way after Vance, and he had been convinced a long time ago. And with both of them on Team 828, it was way easier to work around the other higher ups that tried to stop him on the last episode. Also, the way they put together the map from Cal's drawing was just so fun to watch. This isn't necessarily a specific moment, more of a whole episode and storyline, but the reveal of the Driftwood being a part of Noah's Ark and having Peacock DNA, it was one of the most satisfying moments for me and exciting as a Manifest fan in general. Now yes, this did add a lot more confusion and it could have been executed better, but I don't care, my jaw was on the floor. But I also want to talk about Sanvi. Personally, she's in my top 3 favorite characters of the show, and her life was in real danger with this one. I feel like that's kind of a theme with this list. But Manifest is at its best when it pulls at your heartstrings while also mindfucking you, I don't know if that makes sense at all. But this was a great example of that, because the visual of Sanvi crying blood was just plain cool, but to think she could actually face consequences, real life and supernatural, for killing the Major, again man, it just had me on the edge of my seat. And I don't know the word exactly that I'm trying to use, I think this is it, but this felt like the antithesis of Sanvi's whole story and character arc. Because from day one, she always looked at it from a scientific perspective and she was trying to fix it, quote unquote, when ultimately her actions almost caused her to die in a supernatural way. A great example of how the characters are always facing multiple threats from different sources of danger. Alright, coming in at number 3, we got the Club Fire from the middle of Season 2. Gotta talk about the Club Fire if we're talking Manifest best moments. Real, plausible danger, almost all the best main characters involved, an emotional ending, and we learned a little bit more about Alzuris. And Ben got his hero moment, which we all love. It seemed like the first half of Season 2 led up to this moment, but it didn't really come into play until this episode, and in the back of our minds we knew an Xer attack or the 828 believers going cult style was possible, but this was a lot more monumental than I ever expected it to be. Watching the main characters slowly realize what's going on, bodies dropping left and right, not knowing who's behind it all until the end. I mean, we're talking about the edge of my seat, bro. The main reason this is number 3 is because of Mick, Ben, and Adrian. They had to put their differences aside to figure out a plan, while they also can finally see the impact Adrian and his church had on I can never say that word, impressionable minds. Oh yeah, and Olive was finally out of the cult after this, which I think we all can agree was a huge sigh of relief. Very annoying side plot for her. This almost made my number 1 spot, but you'll see after this why I picked the other one. But if Zeke coming back to life isn't one of your favorite Manifest moments, then I simply just can't trust you. From the second his story was introduced, he was instantly one of the best characters, and damn near his entire existence in the show was leading up to this moment, his death date. But this alone wouldn't have been as impactful if Jason and his crew weren't involved. I love when a supernatural show has real life elements and dangers that could actually happen. Again, I said this earlier, Manifest barely ever has those. Cause this is how some people would react to the callings. I mean, Jace drives himself crazy trying to find the voice in his head, and it's this creepy little kid whose aunt arrested him. It's somewhat reasonable how he reacted, I'm obviously killing people, no, but he drove himself crazy. I would too if I heard a voice in my head. The lead up with Zeke freezing to death but also helping through callings, everyone's coming together on the ice, Cal almost drowning too. I mean, it felt like the stakes just couldn't have been higher, and they executed it very well in the sense that I was very satisfied at the end. But in the least fucked up way possible, this would have been a lot more impactful of a scene if Zeke died and didn't come back to life, especially after he saved Cal's life. But as a fan of the show in general, I just want to see him survive, but honestly, I feel like this would have been number 1 if he died. I don't know why. I know that sounds fucked up, but I feel like this would definitely be number 1. It's close. It's close. Honestly, I just wanted to put Josh Dallas's best acting scenes at number 1, but I had to choose a specific moment. I wanted to be fair. Looking back, the show had some dull moments and especially some dull acting, but every time Ben came on the screen, the show was at its best. That's a for sure. But I picked a specific moment because of Josh's acting in such a serious situation, but that's just it. I felt like this had some of, if not the most, implications. It was the most serious situation there could have been. We're about to lose the main character's wife that we have been with since episode 1, or the 828 baby that could have answers to what's going on. And either way, if Grace or the baby were not going to survive the operation, this would shift the tone of the show and completely ruin the Stone family, which, now that we know after season 3, might be getting, this might have been a hint. This might have been a little foreshadowing, if you know what I mean. But just as a TV show, I felt the most invested in the characters at this moment because I actually cared about the outcome and I could really feel Ben's pain. Again, that's due to his great acting, so if you're going to take anything away from my number 1, Josh Dallas's acting, that's the best part of the show. If we're talking the best part of the show, it's Ben. So, what'd you guys think of my list? Were any of my favorite moments some of yours too? Of course, give me your top 5 or top 10, however many moments in the comments below. I want to hear them all. But I just want to make this video to highlight the good parts of this show, specifically the ones that made me a fan, because I did talk I talked some shit about this in my last Stranger Things video. So let me know some more ideas of manifest videos you want me to make on this channel. I know one I've seen requested a couple times is a video on what I don't like about this show. Not sure if you guys want that, but in general, I just love making lists, so if you have any ranking ideas, please drop them in the comments like I said. And again, I have to shout you guys out. We're at like 2.7 thousand subscribers at this point. Just thank you for all the support. More Manifest and now Stranger Things videos are coming soon, so make sure to turn on that notification button, and yeah, I'll see you next time.